Hi everyone and welcome back to my Freezing Pulse Elementalist. So, this is going to be the last progression video about the build. I've been playing for way longer on my League Starter than I expected, but I just had so much fun, which is good. Also, really quickly want to start with a big thank you to all of you guys who commented, bringing in ideas. That was a blast, right? And you really helped me either reminding stuff that I have forgotten and tested already, or just being fine with what I get, right? So you gave me new ideas as well, which is great, right? Greatly appreciate your support throughout this league start. And yeah, we have changed up a couple of things, right? You can see the power charges. Yeah, the implicit gain a power charge every X seconds is actually pretty much the best thing to do, because that smooths not only our crit, right, it also smooths out our mana regen even more, so it is probably better to take that over the spell crit multi that you can roll, right? This is the Searing Exarch. Implicit, you can roll this with the lesser ones. In my case, I had a couple of greater ones lying around, so I just rolled with those, right? But you don't need it per se. You can absolutely go with the gain a power charge every 15 seconds, I think it is, and you're fine, right? All you really need for that is the charge mastery with the increased charge duration, though. That smooths it out quite a bit, right? So that's cool. So we needed more, right? We needed more to smooth out the build. We wanted more defenses and more offenses as well. So I slotted in overloaded intensity support instead of increased critical strikes, right? We still have the increased critical damage support. That's really cool. And yeah, with overloaded intensity, we are able to get, as you can see here, base crit per overloaded intensity and crit multi, right? So this stacks up to 3, so we gain 150 crit multi, which is quite intense and good, right? Oh yeah, I also upgrade. Did I talk about this already? But yeah, we have a Stygian-wise. Our defenses are looking snazzy now, right? We do have Chaos Res now as well. Cool. So, overloaded intensity, how does it work? We do this in combination with the Apex mode tool. Don't really know how expensive that is currently, so let's have a quick glance. Depending on corruptions, I guess. It's like 80 chaos for the normal one. And what if we get the implicit of corrupted blood immunity? Yeah, that's what I thought, right? This skyrockets the price, of course. So probably don't get it on this one. Just get the normal one, which is what I did to try and test it out, right? So, what does it actually do? If you see here, spells which have gained intensity recently gain 1 intensity every 0.5 seconds. Remember what Pinpoint does, right? Pinpoint, we lose 1 intensity every 0.5 seconds while moving, or immediately if we teleport. So, to make use of overloaded intensity support, we have to lose 6 intensity stacks with supported skills. So if you cast once, you can see, hey, our intensity just shoots up. Now we walk around, right, and look at this. You need to cast a little bit, right? So if you start mapping, maybe you teleport around and shield charge, right, and teleport again, and there we go. We are on max stacks, and without our diamond flask, we are already crit capped, which, yeah, our tooltip DPS shoots up tremendously, which is cool. And as you saw there, our crit multi, yeah, you can clearly see now how it affects the crit chance, right? I think 2 stacks is what we need. Yeah, we are crit capped now, 545 on the crit multi, 595 now on 3 stacks, with the benefit of having 4 intensity stacks pretty much always, right, which is a good amount of damage. And since we got our buff to Freezing Pulse itself with the added projectiles, yes, this works out very, very nicely for us. And yeah, you saw the threshold jewel down here. This is a Light of Meaning with increased armor. If you take a look at this one, right, we were sitting on 30,000 armor just with our gear and skill tree, and adding this in shoots us up to 45k. If we then use our Granite Flask, right? We shoot up to 60,000, and then we can also have our Molten Shell from automation triggering, right? If you have your flask up while mapping, 60,000 armor is really nice. That's like 1300 ES on block. So, very cool indeed, right? Works out fairly nicely. But yeah, that frees up the Diamond Flask slot. In my case, I went for the Overflowing Chalice, right? I don't really care about increased damage. The Consecrated Ground is nice to have, but also not that much needed. However, this is really cool, right? You gain 75% increased charges for the other flasks, right? During the effect of this one. So for 9.6 seconds, our other flasks just get their charges way faster. And it's actually, in my opinion, worth it for mapping. So, speaking of mapping, let's head out. Let's get going. We have 3 Legion Scarabs, one of the Sergeant Scarabs, and then one that I'm testing right now, which is Legion chests in area have a 20% chance to spread their rewards to Legion monsters. And I just want to see how this feels, right? So let's head into Cemetery, which is the map I'm currently running. I'm still testing out a couple of maps, right? But Cemetery is always one that I have liked. And there we go. You can see now. Let's go. We are getting our overloaded intensity stacks up a little bit. Oh, hang on. What do we have here? Yeah, that's fine. They can get armor. That doesn't worry us too much. This is sadly a map boss one, but we take it. Right, let's start the Legion. Let's pause here. You can see we are on our 3 overloaded intensity stacks and on our 4 stacks of intensity, right? So now we are crit capped. We have a very good crit multi. We have the 4 intensity stacks for our damage, right? So it all comes together now very, very nicely and very, very smoothly, right? And we are quite tanky with the addition of the Light of Meaning. We were okay-ish before, right? Now we are definitely okay with the tank for the content I am doing, which is tier 16 mapping, right? As well as charting and the voyages, or voyage, I guess. Yeah, so that is okay, right? I'm really, really happy with how this has turned out now. And as I said, it's also thanks to you guys, right? For commenting, for bringing in ideas or reminding me of things. So that was amazing these last 2 weeks, right? So yeah, thanks for that. I really had a blast with this build. I'm like, yes, I've done this in the past, and I've went through so many iterations with it, right? And it always felt a little bit underwhelming, and mainly because just the base damage of Freezing Pulse isn't really here, right? So while I think that the additional projectiles are a good buff, I would have loved to get a little bit more on the base damage side. We got like 1 gem level worth of base damage, basically, right, as well. So it's not nothing, right? But with the loss of our, whatchamacallit, flat damage implicit on the wands, right? We can definitely feel that. And yeah, it's fine though, right? We made it work so far. And as stated, I am very happy with how the build has turned out. Like, that's just, it's great. It's better than it was ever before, right? So, worth. And Legion is just a league mechanic that I personally really enjoy, right? Which is why I made an Atlas 3 for it, and why I'm testing out a couple of Scarabs. It's always good to test stuff in a league mechanic that you personally find fun. There we go. Ah, it's so good. I love it. Just the fact that you can hear the loot filter going off in the background is, that's always good, right? That's why I like Legion. There we go, and I will loot the map when I'm finished. Right, as you can see here, even these guys just... Ooh, let's go. We still need to be kinda worried about bleeding, so I definitely need to find a way to get Corrupted Blood immunity at some point. Here's the boss DPS. That's insane. Just Chain Freeze, but with more damage now, right? There we go. Let's get that one going as well. And you can just... With the tankiness that you have, right, we don't really need to worry that much. Now we have some shrines as well, that's good. Let's grab both of those before we continue. There we go. Bring the map up, because I'm sure I have overlooked... Yeah, there it is. Overlooked a Legion before, that's fine. We go ahead and clear that as well. And then we can pick up the loot and head out. Go, let's get this guy. Cool. There we go. Not sure if I like the Scarab that spreads the rewards. Not sure if it actually triggers that often. Oh look, Soul Eater. Always critting Soul Eater mob. Dangerous. But as you can see, if we just take our time to clear properly and pulse from the distance, there we go, we were just bleeding there. Pretty decent, right? The rares, honestly, if you want to have an easier time, just curse, right? Helps a lot. And yeah, keep your eyes out for the bleeding stacks if you're playing Legion or, well, any other content, I guess, as well. Just these are the things that can take over, right? So, let me finish looting, I will report back to you in Path of Building. Alrighty guys, the build has been imported into Path of Building, so now we can go through a couple of things. Let's say we don't have our Molten Shell up, right? This is just going to be our baseline for everything. Max hit of 14.8k fizz, not that good, right? Molten Shell will put you over 21,000. Now, keep in mind, while mapping, you pretty much always have your Granite Flask up, right? So 16,000, and then if Molten Shell kicks in, that is how you reach like 23.6k, which feels way more than enough for the content that I'm doing currently, right? You can also see that, yeah, the quality is just working out fairly nicely now. Don't have to go and do these things. So, baseline without doing anything, right? You come into the map, you cast your first time. Yeah, you're not critting that much, but your power charges will creep up, right? And you will get more stable. Remember that we do actually shock, right? And then we are going to be on our 4 intensity stacks, right? And our 3 overloaded intensity stacks as well. And yeah, now you can see the damage number is actually going up a little bit, right? If we unnerve our enemy as well, we gain even more damage. We do chill, but that doesn't factor in quite as much. If we take a look at Freezing Pulse over here, though, you can see it displays 48% shock here. With our continuous casting, and if they don't have additional resistance against the shocks, you will reach 50. For the calculation, we can absolutely leave this in 48. That's fine, right? And our max chill is 30%. You will not reach 30% immediately. Sometimes, right? Sometimes you will. So that's pretty good, right? As I stated, right? Yeah, you get like 1300 back on block with your flask and Molten Shell, right? So if you deactivate that, that is still ES on block 1200, right? So that feels so good. Cool. Alrighty. Awesome, right? This is basically our baseline for, like, yes, we have our power charges now generated. Yes, we did take care of stacking up overloaded intensity, right? And this is without factoring in conversions, right? If you click conversions against the boss, you shoot up to 6.1 mil for 4 seconds, then you go back down to 4.7. So we do our 15% more damage, and overall we smooth out at 5.4 mil. 4 meters away from the target. Keep that in mind, that is important, right? That is our baseline. So if you're just 1 meter away from the target, we are looking at 6.5 mil, and if you stand literally on top of them, it's 6.8. But yeah, I think 40 units, which is 4 meters, that is quite reasonable, right? And against bosses, you can see our crit multi shoots up to 620%. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool, right? So, if you would take in endurance charges just to show this off, you would gain a decent bit of survivability, right? This is why I have been experimenting with that in the past a little bit, and we have the welcome bloodline, but we don't take it. So yeah, it's just because I have it unlocked. I need to figure that out. There we go. Bandits, we kill all. That has been taken into account here. We are using Brine King to get our freeze immunity. And then I was running Aberath for unaffected by burning ground because I'm doing red altars, right? So that's pretty cool. Now, if we have our silver flask up, you can see that is like 600,000 additional damage, right? So if you go into a boss from mapping, where you go to the map boss, yeah, you can dish out like 6 mil. And that's more than enough to keep them frozen, right? Especially if they don't have any resistance against freezes, right? And then, yeah, movement speed goes up to 100%, 107% with our flask and our quicksilver and our silver flask, right? And then the overflowing chalice, yeah, you gain like 250k more damage. But as I said, that is not that important. I just really like it to get the other flasks refilled a little bit quicker. So, yeah, that is pretty much how the calculation has been set up now, right? You can argue about, yeah, we don't start with unnerve, but this should give you a picture. If you set this to 50, you gain a little bit more damage as well, right? So it cancels each other out a little bit, and I think, as you saw there with the new jewel and the overloaded intensity setup, keeping those 4 intensity stacks and the 3 overloaded intensity stacks actually not that difficult, right? You just need to remember to move around all the time. Then the Wrath Aura from our golem, as you can see, that is barely doing anything, so we don't rely on that at all, obviously, and that is a-okay as well, right? So that is how our endgame tree is looking, level 98, as you can see there. And yeah, I'm really, really happy. Now, I was thinking, what if we go out of convergence and do some other shenanigans, like always igniting them, and then we could convert 40% of his damage over to fire. Now keep in mind, that means we would lose these 15% more damage, right? And we would do this. And then we would also ignite our enemy. Oh, is this not... Yeah, I think this isn't working, right? Does it? I don't think it does. Hang on a minute. Our survivability should go up, but it doesn't really. That's insane. I don't know. But yeah, that was something I was thinking about. But for now, I think I am really, really happy. So, cool. That's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it. Now, how we achieved... If we go for a level 100, I think I would just add these notes back in right here, right? To get a little bit more survivability out of the build. I think that's fair to do, right? Would put us up to 3600 ES, 4700 life. So yeah, it's like 200 unreserved life on top of it, and also like 100-ish ES, 120-ish. That's fine, right? So yeah, that sums up pretty much everything, I would say. So I will leave you this path of building in the description down below. This is what I think is where I want to be, right? That's pretty decent in my opinion. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Thanks for your help, for your support, and for your ideas. Greatly appreciated. That's it for today though. Thank you very much for watching everyone, and as always, take care. Bye!